Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday. And today we got day 2 of Fast Track with Flow Track. And I'm so thankful to have Lisa and Danny join us on today. Let's go ahead and bring them on stage. So right now, there we go. Welcome, Danny and Lisa. So let's get started and kick it off with day 2 of Fast Track with Flow Track. But first, go ahead and tell us what we got in store for everyone.
Well, today's going to be a really good getting started day, Mike. I would say it's pretty simple, but obviously it's super important if you're just getting started. We're going to basically go over the white label menu. You actually did a great job summarizing it in your quick launch when you get into the system. I'm just going to go a little bit deeper in that we have the time and really just want to show people the way we did it, even though there's multiple ways of just doing about anything in here, which is really, really cool. So we're just going to be going over the white label settings. We're going to be going over the branding, which is another short section, how we make FlowTrack our own. We're also going to go over lightly the packages. In fact, you're welcome to jump in and help me if you're still available there, because I know you've got a really, there's a lot of things in there that I think people would benefit from. And then we're also going to go over the domains and very lightly into blueprints. And the reason why I go lightly is because I don't want to overwhelm, because we're going to be building stuff over the next few days, like a contact us form. And Lisa's going to be building a website. And we want the scenario to be something similar. Like we're building so that we can pass it down to our sub accounts, which is what we do. And to do that, then towards the end, once we have those assets built, we're going to put them into a real blueprint, and then we're going to pass them down to our sub account. So it's going to be a pretty light day, but it also does give us time for Q&A. So if you have questions, please by all means put them into the chat and we'll be happy to answer them. Good morning.
Perfect. Yeah, so good morning back at you, Nobi. Thank you for joining us. And that sounds awesome. So it sounds like we got an action-packed white label day. So this is all about white label branding, domains, packages, all that good stuff. So I think that's a good starting point. So I'll let you guys go ahead and kick it off. I will jump out and let's get started.
All right, very good. And I'm going to go ahead and start everybody by saying the obvious. There's more than one way to do this. We're just here to try to show you how we do it. If you like it, do it our way. If you're doing it different, you're fine. You're fine. In fact, a lot of you may have already gotten to this point to where you may not get a whole lot of value today. All right. And I'd also like to point out that where I'm at, there's some internet issues. So if I pause or something like that, it's my internet. So far, it's been good today, but it was giving me some issues yesterday. So I apologize in advance if I lock up. And Lisa, if you keep an eye on the comments, if I need to repeat myself. All right. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay. There we are. Okay. So what we're going to do is when we log into FlowTrack, this is our screen. We want to get everything branded towards us. So we're going to go to the white label settings, and all of this is pre-populated. Okay. And I know that in my case, while I was playing around, I created a bunch of custom domains and all kinds of stuff, just trying to understand this, putting in emails here, and I changed my emails multiple times. And if you have a domain here, assuming you haven't fully set it up, you can go ahead and delete it or whatever. But I like to start with the domain first, guys. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the domain. Now, the reason why this domain is unique is because this is where people are going to log into your system. Okay. Now, anyone at any time can log in at app.flowtrack.com, but we want to keep our customers under our white label. Like for Lisa and myself, we have multiple brands. We have Agency Remix. So what we want to do here is put what we call a subdomain. because we're going to reserve our main domain, agencyremix.com or flowtrack.com or yourdomain.com, as our website. But technically, we need the login page to go ahead and where people will log in. And so we're going to create a CNAME. All right. And I want to say that I've just been corrected that only the admin can log into FlowTrack. So good news there. That is, I just learned something right there. All right. So what we're doing is we are going to choose a prefix of our domain. It could be anything you want. I'm preferential to my, and I am going to go ahead and put, I have this domain that doesn't go anywhere, guys. I'm literally setting it up right now, flowtracktraining.com, but this should be your domain. And what I want to point out is that this my can be app, it could be my, it could be CRM, it could be whatever you want. I like my. So I'm going to save it. And then what it's going to do is it's working in the background, creating the values I need to put in to my domain register. And what a domain register is, it's where you bought the domain. For some of you, it could be GoDaddy, Namecheap, wherever you said, this is my domain, this is what I want it to be. That's where we're going to be going. Now, I am preferential to Google domains. And what I did, and I am looking for my login while we're waiting here for that. And I bought my domain here with Google Domains. I'm going to let that keep working in the background because sometimes it takes a little while for it to propagate. And when I buy a domain, no matter where you bought it, you're looking for something with the DNS settings. And DNS settings is just where, just like how you're getting a website, you want to be able to tell the internet where that website lives. Okay. And there we are. So those domains, these are the values we want to put in right here. And for many of you, you may know what this is. For some of you that don't, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can split my screen and show you how I do it. Okay, so we need to get this data into the DNS of where we register. Okay, usually the first thing we need to do is set the type. And so you're looking for something that has a lot of values. We want to create a CNAME. And then the first value is my. I'm going to just hit that little copy. And then this is the second value, which in this case is name data. Sometimes these names can be different, but the good news is, and actually my thing didn't copy, right? Right, there it is. So my, and then the CNAME is the type. TTL doesn't really matter. That means time to live. You can just ignore that, but usually you want it to be the shortest possible. I'll just leave it like that. And then the value goes over here, and you do one of these at a time, and I'm going to hit save. Hit the first entry. Okay. So now we need to do the other three. Okay. And let me export this a little bit, make this a little bit wider. And we are looking for manage there. And let me do another one. I was looking for that add new one. Okay, now the second one. So we're going to add our second. Let me hit save again. Create new record. There we are. And actually, I'm going to cheat and turn this back to half. There we are. That's much better. And then we're going to create our CNAME again, copy this value, paste. Create another record. So there's 4 of them. I highly recommend using these copies and pastes because it really does make it a lot easier. Create another one. It's a CNAME, paste. Okay, so now I'm going to save it. Oh, looks like I missed one. And save. Okay, so I'm going to give it a second. If you saw me make a little brief mistake there, but what happens is that once we connect in it, we hit verify, and it isn't always instant. So I'm going to let that work in the background. Okay. So it's going to be checking this periodically until everything is live. And for those of you that do anything with websites, it could take up to 24 hours. But I like Google domains. I'm a big fan of Cloudflare, which is just another way to handle it. Look at that. That was pretty quick. So we can see that everything is connected for our domain and it's still working on the email sending. Okay. So now when people go to myflowtracktraining.com, they'll be able to see this system. But we still need to brand it. So now I'm going to start over here under branding, and we are going to call this our agency name, right? And I want to take a quick second that I feel is important, but it's just because I like to give the system its own name. Now, this is not FlowTrack advice. This is just me. Like my old agency was, we'll just say, super marketing agency, right? But I wanted my software to have its own identity. I had a lot of customers that I sold them SEO, pay per click, and websites and all kinds of stuff. And I thought it would be strategic for me to be able to say, this system, in our case is Agency Remix, Local Remix, this system has its own identity. So when I went to my customers, I was able to say, yes, we do SEO. Yes, we do this. By the way, we also have this software called Local Remix to offer you. And so it kind of had its own identity. It had its own branding. And this way, if that customer ever wanted to quit SEO or whatever else, there was still a chance that they would keep that service because it just had its own name instead of it just being part of my general overarching service as a full service marketing agency. So I like the branding, which is how I chose my domain name, to be something of it's something cool. Like FlowTrack is a cool name. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have them, but we want to put either our agency name or, in my case, software name. All right. And I'm just going to put it back to FlowTrack. But this is what is going to be the branding. It's going to be used all over the place. And then the support email. Now, there's a lot of different ways to handle this, guys, and we're going to cover this in another day. But all these emails, since they're system generated, they use the SendGrid integration, which is fantastic. Okay, because all we have to do, we technically set it up when this goes live over here, right? So when this is fully live, which it takes a few minutes, then this email should reflect the way we did it, multiple ways, the domain that we connected. So we use FlowTrack Training, right? My.FlowTrack Training. So what I like to put here is do not reply. That's me. Because I just want the system emails to get where they need to go. And if people reply to them, I just want them to make them think they're talking to a machine. And then I make this the same domain that I just connected, okay, which should be your domain, okay? And then this is really, really cool. So when you use the site builder and in various places, you get some branding and some backlinks and all kinds of cool stuff. Now, the default is made with FlowTrack, so I would change this to your software name, right? Here. I like the word powered by myself, but made with is just another way of saying the same thing. Powered by software name. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change this back to FlowTrack. Okay. Actually, I'm not even going to save this. And then we have our web page. Now, I could be mistaken, but I believe when we do the powered by, this is a link, and this is where it goes right here. Okay, so this would be your domain when you have connected, or when you have a live website, whether the website lives here or lives on another server. You know, you want to basically start selling your software subscriptions, right? Now, Lisa and myself, we are using the FlowTrack web builder to build our offerings. And Mike and his team built a really, really good template called the Lightning template, which I'm sure we're going to be going over once this series is over. That way we can kind of go through it and you can understand how it works and be able to customize it for your needs, even though it's quite well done. All right. So here, this should be our website where we talk about our service. This, if you don't have one, you can make it your CNAME, and your CNAME is this domain over here where people are going. And so getting back over here, I'm going to go ahead, since we don't have a website built, I'm just going to put training.com. But I intend to go back and set this up when we have a website built in the site builder. And now we would normally save it. Now I'm not going to save it because I like the defaults in case I need to go ahead and train people again. But don't forget to hit save. Okay. The other thing we want to do, and I save incrementally, is we want to update our logos. Okay. Now keep in mind that when you update this logo, we prefer the light version, but there's also a dark version. So make sure that your logo, if ideally, works with both. In our case, since our logo has black, and most people have the light version on by default, our logo looks better with light. So we use the same logo in both. And Mike shared a great tip. If you have a logo that only looks good in light because it has a lot of dark text or whatever, put a white outline on it and it could work in both light mode and dark mode. Now, we use the same logo for large and small, so it just works everywhere. And then the favicon is what shows up here in the corner, okay? And in this little subsection here, we have social media. Now, Lisa and I, we didn't put anything here, but what's cool about this is that if you have a Facebook page, if you have a YouTube page, or any of these pages, you can put them here. And these and these links can be used in the system, and they also populate into our system emails. Our system emails happen when an event happens for our customers, and those links populate here, So it's a good idea if you have them to go ahead and fill them out. And we'll be going to these sections here in a bit. All right. So that's the first section. And this is going to cover the logos, the URL, and what we have so far. The next thing we have is advanced. Right now, there isn't anything to do here, but we will be coming back here because by default, you know how we have this chat widget? Well, this chat widget, even though it appears to be FlowTrack and everything like that, since we are system users, we are customers in FlowTracks, we are the only ones that see this, okay? But what we want to do later is we want to put our own chat widget that works here, and we're going to do that on the chat day, all right? And we're going to be getting a code, and ultimately, we're going to put this here, okay? So that we can have our chat widget here, so when our customers need help. Now, if you think you're going to be overwhelmed with help and everything like that, we are actually in the process of migrating our support to use the FlowTrack white label support. I think it's priced fairly well, just because it saves me time, and I like the idea of FlowTrack's trained support team being able to help my customers because I'm just very busy. They're there, and I could it's just fantastic. All right. So we'll be coming back to the chat, but if you were to hire FlowTrack to do your white label support, where it'll still show your brand here for your customers, they will go ahead and insert a code in here for you. Okay. Now, the next thing is the PWA mobile app. And I want to take a quick second to explain what a PWA mobile app is. It is an app that is installed on your phone, but it has one big key difference in what you're used to with a traditional app. Okay. A traditional app is installed in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, and that is a normal app. The downside to those apps is that you would have to submit your own app for it to have your own branding. Okay. and it's not very flexible, because once you submit it, that's the app that works. If you want to say, hey, I want to add a new menu link in your app, which is what we can do here, well, the it'll show up in the PWA app. You can't get that in your Android app. All right. So I really like the benefit of having the PWA app. We can go ahead and customize that app by controlling our interface here. So if you don't want people to have access to flows in your PWA app, you just disable it on their role here, and we'll get into that in roles. Then your app matches your service. One of my biggest pet peeves with the other systems that I've used is that even though I like the simplicity of installing an app through the App Store, is that I wanted my review sequences to be an upcharge. Well, the problem with the app that they were using that I had to use, which was a gray label app, in other words, it didn't have their name, didn't have our name, just had a generic name, is that in there was the click here to ask for a review. But for me, I wanted that to be an upcharge. So when I was getting people into a very basic system, they could send a review in the app, even though I didn't want them to. I wanted to charge extra for that feature, so I was forced to give it away. So the PWA allows you a lot more flexibility, where people see this, have a very similar, I would almost argue an exact experience, just on a smaller screen on the mobile app, the PWA app, as they do on a regular computer. Okay. And so that PWA app needs branding. So what I use is, we got our favicon here, right? And then we use the same icon here for the icon on our screen for our phones. Okay. And then we got to choose a couple color schemes just to give it a little bit of branding. I left the background color white, and then I just chose one color of my logo as the theme color. Okay. So the PWA app, I'd like to point out that when you make changes to the PWA app or make changes on the website, you have to give it a few minutes, because it takes a little while for it to update across the internet. Okay. I've changed my logo thinking, hey, I could just instantly go and make an edit. So if it still says flow track here for you, don't freak out. You got to give it, we say 24 hours, but usually it's within the hour. It'll update to the settings that you do it, because it has to update across the internet. Okay. The next thing here is navigation. And this goes back to why I like the PWA app, is that I can add custom menu links over here. And this is where we control them under navigation. All right. And so if I wanted to hide something, I could hide it. And we do that in roles, but I can add custom things here. Like maybe we want to take them to our billing URL and use a third-party billing, or take them to Stripe. You can put a link here, custom menu, and just put in a link. I'm just going to put google.com. I can create a new icon color with a background color, and I'm just going to, not very pretty. And then I'm going to save it. And then when I save it, you can see how it adds it right there. Okay. Then you can click and drag and change the order. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete this. But that is something really, really cool, where once you add a custom menu icon, you can either just take them directly to another website, or you can embed it in this middle, or in the main window. So the menu would still be here, but everything here to the right of the menu would really be another website, but it would look like it's in your system. Okay. And if it doesn't work, keep in mind that whatever system that you are linking to, it has to allow iframes. Some systems don't want to look like they're in another website, and they will block it. So just keep that in mind. Not really a big deal. Most places allow it, but it's usually somewhere where they want to protect their content. All right. So these icons over here, we can update them if we don't like them. I happen to like them, but you can also edit the color scheming, right? So I accidentally reset it. I'm just going to hit reset real quick. But you can make this color match your logo scheme. Okay. And just so you could see what we have in ours, I'm just going to quickly show you what that could look like. See, we wanted everything to be orange, and we chose orange and black as our color scheme. Okay. And all we did to do that is we went into each of these pencils and we got creative with the icon color and the background color. Okay. So that's how we control this over here. And I would imagine most of you by default would leave that alone. Okay. Then we have a place for custom menu navigation items, which show up over here. All right. These are these same items. Obviously, we can't control my account because that's where it lives. But these three items are these three items here. Now, we chose not to mess with any of this. We actually, all we did is we just put the color scheme so it just matched our logo. Okay. And whenever you're done in this section, don't forget to hit save. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hit reset because I want it to be the default flow track experience. Okay. So I'm just going to hit refresh since I didn't save it the first time. Oh, hold on. Let me delete this. Reset, reset, and let me hit save, and that menu link should go away. Oh, looks like it's protecting me from myself. Let me just delete that. Save. All right. Now we're back to the regular flow track experience. Okay. And this is what it looks like. You can also control, there's a dark mode on phones, by the way, or the dark mode. When we hit dark mode, that's what it's talking about, where you can have different color icons, or I'm sorry, change the background colors where we didn't mess with it. We just left it alone with the light. Okay. I'm gonna go back to light mode. Styles. By default, there really isn't much to do over here, guys. You know, these colors affect the little things like the text up here and when you go into sections and so forth. I recommend you just leave them alone just because it's designed. I think everything looks good, but this is where you would change. And keep in mind that some of these values are only here in the middle, and it'll just change to allow the different shadings. Okay. So don't think you can edit all of them, but if you just focus on these in the middle, you can really, really customize the look. Anything with one of these palettes here, you can edit. All right. So I'm not going to save that. Packages. Oh, we could spend a lot of time here. And with packages, to me, this is one of my favorite things about FlowTrack. You know, if you guys remember, one of the reasons that I feel we have a competitive advantage with FlowTrack is that we can build more flexible packages. And what I mean by that is packages, I want to be able to come in with a crazy low number with very limited features, and I have more flexibility here with FlowTrack than I did with other systems. With other systems, all I could do is turn on and off features, while as over here, I have the same power of turning them on and off, but I can also put limits. Like maybe we only want to give them 1,000 contacts on this package, and then after that, charge them a penny each. We can do that here. We can limit how many users we have here. So that's a penny right there. Okay. Actually, it's a thousandth of a cent. But we can charge for basically any item in here. Okay. So I'm going to start at the top. And this name reflects this name. The base package is not editable. For those of you on the white label plan, you'll see that you just have the unlimited. But if you went to black label, you have the option of selling other white labels, which is this plan right here. So most of you, if you're not black label, are just going to see an unlimited, and it's just the beginning of what you use. Think of it as a template that FlowTrack provides for you to be able to build your custom packaging. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit new, and we are going to call this the demo, or we'll call it the training day package. And then I get to choose the foundation of the package. White labels can set up other sub accounts, while as the unlimited free of cost is a sub account. This is what we're going to use mainly for our customers, unless you decide to upgrade to black label. And then you have the option of selling other white labels where they get their own customers. But for most people, we're going to be using the unlimited. Okay. And then we have some icons here. We can, if we create a bunch of different plans, they can choose to upgrade up and down. I'm going to leave that off because I just pretty much, I like to come in with just one package, but that's what this is for here. Upsell and add-on. This section right here is to be able to add add-ons to existing plans. For example, right now we're building the training day package, and that's going to be our plan. So this cannot be on. You only turn this on if, like, for example, I want to create an add-on for, let's say I'm going to give 1,000 text messages for $5. Well, that would be an add-on plan. Hope that makes sense. Okay, see how I clicked it? I'm going to turn that back off. So we are going to use the unlimited. Resell is only for you black label people. We're going to glaze over that. And then we want this plan to be active. Okay. Now, if you plan on using the FlowTrack billing system, you can put an icon in here or use the forms to sell this, which I would. You can put an image, maybe you can put your logo icon, maybe you have a special graphic for this package. This is where you would put it, and then you can put a description about what's included in it, okay? There are some advanced settings. One of the things that I turn off because I don't consider myself a bank is I change this to 0, right? Think of this as overdraft for your customers, okay? So if you have a really high value customer, you may say, you know what, I know they're good for it. I want to give them the $50. They can go $50 into the red, giving me time to make sure that I can collect payment or they can update payment. For high volume customers, that might be important because, you don't want them to go down. All right. But personally, I prefer to make this 0 because I don't consider myself a bank. This is what we do in our black label and white label account. All right. And then we're going to go into roles in another training day. But what's cool about the system is that you can create a role based on the package. So a good example would be maybe we have a review system package. Well, what we would do is we would create a role specifically for the review system package where we're hiding everything they don't need. Okay. And then what happens is when this package is sold, it will give that admin this role that we assign it here. Now, we only have this role in here, but when we add more roles, we would see them here, and then you can select it. It would be the review system role. Okay. That's just one example. All right. I'm going to go ahead and glaze over the rest of this. This is where we can control the package price. There are more settings here, but like, for example, our entry-level package is $97 a month in our system. We charge it monthly. We don't take payments because if you don't have 97, it's not done in installments. You can charge a setup fee, a one-time setup fee. We chose not to. And then you can even give a free trial of like 14 days or so forth. Okay. We do not do trials. We just believe that we want people to put their money where their mouth is if they're interested. And so we want them to put in their money. Okay. And it looked like it reset. Let me go ahead and go back in here. Advanced. There we go. And then the plan change, I leave that off by default, but it gives you the ability to upgrade and downgrade in the same plan, because we can create, you can have a monthly option, which is what we're setting up here, but we also have yearly, right? So that's where the plan change is. We like to keep it simple. We only have one plan for our sub accounts, but if we had multiple, this is what we would play with right here. And then you can put a description here, which is similar to the description up here. It's just that we can create multiple plans. And this is where we control the description just for this monthly plan that we're playing with here for $29. And then if for whatever reason, there's something unique about this monthly plan. You can put your description here, and I'm just going to glaze over it because I chose to leave it all blank. But it's really cool to have that flexibility. Okay. Moving on. We can give a complimentary credit to as soon as they sign on. I highly recommend giving everybody $1. And what I give them is $1 one time. The reason why that is because as soon as they sign in, they start trying to do stuff, they're going to be getting warnings that they're overdrawn as soon as the system tries to send them an email. So I like to give them $1 to kind of give them a chance to get set up before they start getting bombarded with anything that is having to do with, hey, you're over, you need to put money in, you need to recharge, because it just tried to send them an email. Okay. And then we could choose to roll over it. In other words, we can make the dollar expire in the first month if we have it off, or until they use it up. I like to let them use it till it's used up, because they may not get started right away. I mean, we get paid up front for our monthly fee. Then I'm going to really go fast here because time is starting to get a little short. But these are the different features within FlowTrack that we can turn on and off and charge extra fees for. The ones you want to pay special attention to are the ones that have these icons here. Okay, that means that there is a cost associated to their use to everybody involved, because we use SendGrid for email. So guess what? SendGrid, there's a cost involved. We have to be able to pay for the SMS to use the carrier system, and that's what these are, and have phone numbers. So all of these with these blue sliders have a hard cost involved, and you have the opportunity of marking them up. Now you can disable and turn on, you can adjust the quantity of what's included in this plan, which is what this is. We are not giving away any free emails, but if we did, we would change this to 1,000, 100, whatever. Now, I choose to do everything a la carte. So anything that has a hard cost in our system, we choose to leave that 0 because we want the customer to pay for it. We're not giving them any free items. Okay. But we're in the business of making money. Now, I like to usually double the markup. That's what I like, but this is a very subjective thing. It's what's important to you. Some people do more, some people do less. Okay. Now, where I kind of break my own rule that I just gave you is with email, because if someone is very heavy in the email, I may only do a slight markup. Okay. Because email is very, very competitive. Okay. Just keep in mind, you always want to do at least 1.1. And let me explain why. It's because what happens is, you have to bill your customer. If you're using Stripe, they take 3% of whatever you charge. So if someone gives you $100 for $100 worth of email, you're going to actually only get $97 approximately put in your account. So to make sure that I am marking up to at least cover the 3% surcharge, I mark it up one tick, 1.1% multiplication factor. And you could see it added a fraction, which helps me cover that fee. Okay. So that's how I set my email, but you can turn it into a profit center and do more. With MMS, I like to get them around the 4.5 cents. And depending on what you're paying, that's what I do. So in this use case, it's 2.2, but it could be 2 depending on your setup. All right. For phone numbers, now this is per minute, okay? And it's per minute per leg of a phone call. And let me explain what I mean by that. If you're using the built-in system, the customer is calling the system and the system is ringing right here in your browser. That is one leg. Okay. If you're using a soft phone app, if you're using the FlowTrack app, that is one leg. However, if you want to forward it to a phone number, that is 2 legs. Okay. And if I'm wrong, I'd like Mike to correct me, but this is what my understanding is, because what happens is the phone call comes in, 1 leg to the system. Well, guess what? The carriers want to get paid. They're the bad guys. And we have to basically pass that cost down. And then by it forwarding to the number, which is how Most people are familiar with these systems work. That's two legs. So you don't want to be too aggressive here. Okay. I personally like to just do the 1.1. So we're basically covering that cost. Okay. I do believe there are some plans to be able to break this down to where the phone number is separate from the minute, but I'm not greedy. I just like the 1.1. It includes the markup on the phone number and the per minute charge as it stands right now. Now, I have a totally different opinion here with the SMS. Okay. The SMS is a wonderful profit center for our business. We have customers spending on a la carte fees hundreds of dollars a month because they want to stay in touch with their customers. And we are extremely competitive with our pricing. And I want to take a minute and educate you that not all pricing appears to be apples to apples. It's apples to oranges if you compare FlowTrack, because we're actually including a hidden fee that is not disclosed in other software's pricing. And let me explain. So here we are paying 3/4 of a cent or a text message. Okay. And at 3/4 of a cent, we are including what a carrier surcharge, and the carrier surcharge depends on what carrier is handling it, because we have Verizon, AT&T. But you know what, FlowTrack, one of my favorite things is that they made it really easy. They just include it, so it's very, very transparent pricing. Okay. But I want to be for those of you that are familiar with Twilio's pricing is actually, without the carrier fee, more expensive. It is 0.0079, but there's a little asterisk. Always look for that little asterisk, especially when you're going up against the high level, someone selling high level, because they're going to say, oh, it's 2 cents a minute, but then they or 2 cents a text message, but then they don't tell you that there's also the carrier surcharge. So I want you to know that our pricing already includes it. And with Twilio or other third parties, they give a price that is even higher than this in most cases, and it still doesn't include that carrier surcharge, which is about 1/4 of a cent. So keep that in mind. In high level, you're paying about a penny a text, roughly. It changes all the time, but even though they publish a lower rate, all right? So, but because of that, that means we get to mark this up even more because there's no hidden charges. I'm a big fan of getting about 2.5 cents here. So I like trying to keep it around 2.5 cents, and we're more than tripling our money. Okay. So SMS is a huge profit center for us here. Okay. So I'm going to hit confirm. And with that being said, you can limit some of these things, but really this is what we do. We don't really turn off anything. We don't put any hard limits because we're getting our money up front. But if I did, I like to pay attention to the system users. Maybe you have a starter package that only has let's say it's $30. I'm just making up a really low number. You may only give them one user. How would we do that? First, we need to set a price of additional users, and we'll only give them one. So the way that I set this up right now in this package, on our training day package, is they're going to be paying $29 every month. It's a great starter package. And they're going to get one user included with that for that $29. But the second they want to add a second one, they're going to have to pay a $25 fee for everyone after that. Okay. So that is a very rudimentary way of having a good starter package and being able to turn it into more money. Okay. So I'm going to turn that back to 0, and that makes it unlimited. And then the last thing I want to show here is that we can add a specific blueprint template pack just for here. So if this was, say, the review only package, right? We may have templates that do specific automations or flows just for reviews, and we can put them in a blueprint and then add them here. We haven't created one, but it's as simple as just adding them, right? Now, when we're done here, we always want to make sure we save. I'm not going to save it to leave it alone. And those are the packages. Okay. And we're going to go over packages again at the end because we may want to show how to be able to create multiple packages once we have some assets and set up a blueprint. So that's going to come up again. System emails, these are the things that the system recognizes as an event. Hey, they went below 0. They have a new voicemail, and these are already pre-built for you, but you can customize them. We chose not to say something specific, and it basically helps them. Hey, you need to come in here and update your balance and so forth. That's where the system emails come into play. And then blueprints, we've already touched on them, but blueprints is where we can create those group of templates. Now, we're not going to create one right now, but we're just going to basically show you what's in here. We're going to name our blueprint. And then these are things in the account. There's really nothing in here. That's why I don't have much to show you. But let's say this was the review blueprint, like a form, an automation, maybe a website. And then you save it. And now that template is turned into a blueprint. And that blueprint can be added to packages or installed when we're looking at a contact, right? And we'll go over that on the contact day. But blueprints are really, really a very powerful way to move items around and keep them in a system. All right. And then we're back to our custom domains. Okay. So I know we went over a lot there. I've got a little bit deep into some of the packages and the navigation. But that is the beginning of being able to set up our FlowTrack system to be able to make it our own and create its own identity, and our customers see us as the provider. And with that, I would like to go ahead and take a look at the comments and see what we have here. All right, so I'm going to start here at the top, and a lot of good mornings. Let's get your questions in. Let me go ahead and maximize this. I'm going to pop them up while I read them. I have a white label 20X. There are 2 upgrade options, a lifetime and unlimited. What are the differences? I'm going to have to talk to support. I want to just keep these questions regarding the actual onboarding, but just at first glance, if you have a 20X without me knowing, that's why I don't want to speak. It probably has something to do with the amount of sub accounts you can do. The white label lifetime unlimited gives you, I know that gives you unlimited sub accounts. And I suggest you get some clarification from support to be able to decide if it's a good option for you to upgrade, because I think the unlimited white label is a great deal. Because I mean, you could have 10, I mean, you could use up 20 accounts really quick. And then the unlimited, you could have 1,000, you could have 10,000 under there. So it's really, really the deal of the century. Okay, and then let me keep on looking here. And good to begin with a domain, as it can take 24 to 48 hours. You are correct, Leland. Thank you for that. That's why I started at the domain. And as a matter of fact, on my screen, you can see that the email went ahead and enabled. So when we see these 2 green boxes here, we know that we set up our system correctly. And now when we go to myflowtracktraining.com, this is what our customer sees. And if we had went ahead and put our logo, it would have our logo. Remember, that is all controlled right here. So if we change our logo here, that logo goes over here. It shows up in the corner. So yes, very good point. Domains are real finicky. You know, all we do here at FlowTrack is we give you the values. It's up to you to put them into your domain provider and update your DNS. And most domain providers have some support. If you have some trouble, you're more than welcome to get help, because some domain providers just do it slightly differently. But it does take up to 48 hours, depending on your domain provider, for it to fully update. But you see that we did ours, and we did it maybe about 45 minutes ago, and everything is live. So the speed can depend on a lot of different factors. All right. And then we have a comment. You can also speed up propagation, meaning how fast the update takes to get across the internet using Cloudflare. I use Cloudflare personally. I just wanted to show the Google domain because I didn't want to put something in the middle and add an extra step. But for those of you that know what Cloudflare is, it's just another way of doing what I just showed you. I am a huge fan of Cloudflare. Okay, but you don't need it if you don't know what it is. All right. And we see some comments. Leland, keep on going. See a lot of people helping a lot of people. All right, let's see what this question is. That's if you intend to sell sub accounts. Oh, already getting ahead of me. Thank you, Leland. Let's see here. If you have time, I'll also cover black label, white label. That's Lisa. In fact, I think that's a great thing to do that. Let me keep on. I'm almost done with the comments here. And then talking about native apps. Leland, what Leland's talking about here, native apps are the kind of apps that are installed through the App Store. A PWA app is installed differently. It's not in the App Store. A PWA app, you have to basically use your browser. And when you go to, in this case, my.flowtracktraining.com, which is what we set up, you can install the app. It's usually in the settings of the menu. And then now that'll put an icon on the phone or your screen that'll act like an app. Okay. I don't want to go too deep because it could get really confusing for people, but it does. The main difference that you need to know is that it installs a little differently. Okay. Let's see here. Question: can you add TikTok or any other, Desi? I believe you brought that up when I was going over the left menu links here. You can add any URL you want, and depending, when we are let me go to the navigation here, and I'm going to go ahead and create a quick TikTok, right? I'm going to put in a URL that I assume is tiktok.com. Okay, and really this is the decision you have to make here. I'm going to leave this off, okay? Because if I leave it off and I save it, and now when I click on it, it opens up another window. You can do that with, okay? Alternatively, if we do this, now it's not going to open up another window. What it's going to do is open it in within your FlowTrack app, which is great for hiding the domain. So let me save it, and let's see if they allow it. They don't. See, that is not a limitation of FlowTrack. What it is that TikTok does not allow iframes. Okay. So what this is over here, let me go back to white label. That little checkbox, that little ticker or toggle, is to open it in the app. And some websites just don't allow it. But I bet you the FlowTrack website does. Well, let's change this to flowtrack.co. Let's call this FlowTrack website. We're going to save it. Don't forget, I got to update it here before it to take effect. And now when I click it, this is a website that is allowing an iframe to come in. And so really, it just depends on what you want to put in there. Okay. So now let me go ahead and reset this, and let's see what else we have here. Right. And then Desi, yes. What? Really? We can do that? White label support? Absolutely. And I want to say the reason why Lisa and I are becoming subscribers to it is because it saves us money. Because if not, I have to hire someone, I have to train them. And I'll be honest, I make more money selling the system than I do offering support. You know, and one of the reasons why I'm preferential to the FlowTrack option is because the FlowTrack team, if there is a bug or a system issue, I'd rather them take that so that they can report it to their system engineers rather than me doing support and then me having to go to their support to report a bug. So I'd just rather not be the middleman. To me, it is money well spent but it just depends on what spot you're at. I like the white label because FlowTrack then creates a chat widget with my logo and puts it in my account, but they're the ones doing the work. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got here. Orange and black is cool. Those are my colors. Well, Ricky, you know, I just love how we can customize the app to look more like ours. In my old system, I had to spend a lot of money for a third party tool or hire a developer to be able to customize it with the control I already have here. It's really, really cool, you know, and there's really a lot more you can do for you advanced techies. And that's where some of the advanced stuff is here. You can do a lot of custom things if you know how to code. But to be honest with you, we're not doing it because we didn't need to, even though we had to in other systems. Here, we get to be able to change our colors and update our menus without having to be a coding expert. All right. And let's see here. This is, oh, that's Lisa helping answering questions about making money. All right. Yeah, big fan of being able to upcharge SMS and MMS. Okay, the question is that user fee one time or per month? In the package builder, Chris, when I was over here messing with the users, this is per month. Everything in here is per month. Okay. So every month they would be billed. If I set this up to one user, like how I had it at $25, they would get that first user free. But if they add a second user, they would pay the $25 per month. We're here to make money. So really like that. Okay. If you care about grammar, spelling, you want to look over the system emails, I agree. I'm actually reviewing them. And then let's see what we have here. Yes, be sure to send in misspelled word. Yeah, send them into a bug report if you catch them. You know, that's what we do. You know, that's what I love about this community is that when we find something, we all benefit from everybody reporting things just so the system engineers can focus on fixing things and adding these cool features that they have coming on. So by all means, if you see a typo or something just doesn't seem right, log into your system and start a chat with support. We'd really appreciate it. All right, PWA, Google Chrome Sandbox. I want to set up let's see what we got here. I'm just scanning these guys. I want to set up a package to sell access to training videos through membership page and to download an Excel workbook to work on a company strategy. I sell the company strategy sessions and my toolkit. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of things you can do. I mean, I like to think of a FlowTrack as a box of Lego blocks, and you just choose what Legos make sense. You put them in together into something that you can sell. And I know some big improvements and features are coming up in some future releases that'll actually help you with this. All right, and let's see here. Let's turn that off. How would you do something like that? You know, send some that would be kind of technical. Let's save that for a strategy session where we can do a group and we can answer that. I just want to talk about the onboarding, but that one's a tricky one. I'd love to do that Q&A as a group here in the future. Let's see here. We got John asking a question. How do you gain access to Black Label and what is the cost? I have no idea what the cost is because I am not the person in charge of it. I can say this, you need to get in touch with Charles Edge, or better yet, go to the FlowTrack page, and there, you know, where you see all the packages, there is a way to basically submit your query, and then Charles, who is the person that got Lisa and I in, will basically talk to you, make sure that it's a good fit, because we want you to be successful, and go over the cost options there. And I think, let me just answer a few more questions, and then I'm going to let Lisa jump on in and talk about the difference between white label and black label, because I think that's very important. I just joined. Will the recording be available? It is going to be on the YouTube channel where we are playing right now. Okay. And over time, we are hoping to re-record these with, smaller bite-sized sections, and then we'll basically allow it for you guys to go back and review, but we need a little time for that. Okay, let's see here. It looks like Leland's trying to help me out. Love it. Thank you, Leland. All right, keep on going. What else we got, Leland? Yep, keep on helping. Love it. Or a product within flow track. Let's see here. And with that, I am going to go ahead and reintroduce Lisa so she can talk about the difference between white label and black label, and see if Mike has any last words, or if you guys have any questions here in the meantime. Lisa?
Cover this super quick and share my screen with everyone and just kind of give you, we get this question a ton. And it really is, what's the difference between black label and white label? So I decided to create a lucid chart just literally to explain this to someone else. And so on black label, you want to think of yourself as the overarching landlord that can actually resell blocks. And that's how I look at it. So on black label, by default, you get 5 white label accounts. I'm only showing 3 here for demonstration, but you get 5 of those, and that comes with your black label fee. As Danny says, we don't know what the fee is right now. It keeps going up. So if that's something you're considering, I would jump in immediately. And then after your 5, as I put over here and screenshot this, guys, and I'll put this out on the Facebook group as well, but it's going to be $99 per month per additional white label. So you get 5 for free. What does that mean? It means that you can create 5 different types of businesses. So if you're an agency, say you want to go ahead and have software and resell it for just plumbers, you can have a plumber version of what you do. And then over here, you might want to do something different for electricians. So you could have an entire system that's specific to electricians, so they feel special, and so on. So on black label, you have the ability to have what we call, the top level account that can sell to the sub accounts. And then under white label, depending on the plan you pick, you can have different number of accounts. So right now, there's a plan you can get with 3 sub accounts as of the time we're doing this video for $99 a month. So you can have 3 of these. However, if you get the unlimited for $299 a month, you can have as many as you want. Now, a lot of people would ask, well, I'm not really looking to sell more than 1 vertical. Then you probably only need to buy the white label. If you're just going down 1 vertical and you never dream of the idea that you're going to go down a different vertical, or you don't care about rebranding to go down that vertical, you probably only need white label. The only reason you need black label is when you have a vision or the desire or plan to really rebrand. For instance, we have a brand called Agency Remix where we are, having sub accounts with agencies. We have another brand that goes down a completely different vertical. And so we create different templates, we create different flows, different things for them, and we have it totally rebranded, different logo, different package looking, everything. Now, if you're an end user, say, I'm just one brick and mortar shop, what do I need? You just need a sub account. Unless in your head you think, I'm pretty good at this, and I know a lot of people in my business, and maybe someday I would like to resell them what I do and what I learn. If you're that person, then you might want to get that white label so you could, in fact, resell or give accounts to your friends or other people in your industry. So these are the 3 levels. You simply want to pick what one is right for you. Now, I do know that at the time of us recording this today, there's still the availability to get a lifetime deal on a white label account, a lifetime deal on a white label account. If you're on the fence, and I pulled this up just to take a look. If you were on the fence and you did not get the lifetime deal for the 3-pack, that's gone. And we're not sales for FlowTrack, we're just users. But I was shocked to see that today because it's going quick. So if you have any questions, if you're unsure in any way, when you're thinking about, what you should use, get in touch with me, get in touch with Danny, get in touch with FlowTrack, whoever it is, because this lifetime deal, when you look at $300 a month and you divide that, this is going to pay for itself within 7 months or less. So you want to jump on this as quickly as possible. So that's the differences. If you guys have any questions, let us know. But I found this to really help me explain it to people and really kind of lay it out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for going over that. And, I just wanted to point out the cool thing about the Black Label program is you get those white labels for $99 a month. And those are the unlimited white label. So that's the same one that's on the FlowTrack homepage for $299 a month that you're getting for $99 a month. So there's definitely a unique opportunity in there for you guys to set your own pricing and come out with a unique offer to really target the niche that you want to dominate and set yourself apart from everyone else. I haven't seen a single company out there that's allowed, that has a Black Label program where you can create sub white label accounts. And so that's super powerful and super unique and exclusive to FlowTrack. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. But that's great for people that want to work with agencies. That's great for people that are targeting an industry or niche where they want a white label account themselves. Because the typical white label customer, right? If someone's signing up under your white label, they're going to be signing up under your brand. But now you can offer your customers the ability for them to have their own brand system, which is really, really awesome and unique. And I think really adds to that stickiness, right? That adds to that retention. When you got your own custom system, it adds more of that sense of pride and ownership. Like they feel like it's theirs, and you can never get rid of your system. You can get rid of someone else's system, but you can't get rid of your own, right? So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, Mike, we're all in. I mean, that was the decision we had to make when we were in our last provider. We, between Lisa and myself, we had 2 accounts there, and then I have another 2, and it was one of those things to where we're spending close to $2,000 a month. And when I saw the opportunity to get into Black Label, I mean, I saw it as an incredible opportunity, because the only reason why we have 4 is because we needed 4 different brands. Mm-hmm. And then being able to go out and make more at a big discount, at 99, which I'm sure that eventually will go up for those of you that don't lock in your pricing now. I mean, we're really happy with it. And we like the fact that us being Black Label, we really get to be our own software company and not have to deal with the headaches of building it, which, you guys take that off of our plate, and we love collaborating with you. Being in Black Label, for us, having the level of service that we get and the pricing, I mean, we can't beat it. And it's really completely turned us into Team FlowTrack. And that's why we're moving all of our customers over, and so that we can save that $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, perfect. Well, we got some questions in here. If you guys have anything else, we can do that first, but answer some of the questions in the chat.
I'm trying to answer them, Mike.
Oh, you're trying to answer them? Okay. You're doing it in the chat? Okay, perfect. So,
yeah.
All right. Good deal.
Yeah, there's a couple of tech support questions that we're not covering because that's not this type of session, but I'm sure Mike will look at those.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll get Jawad in here too to help out, and I'll tag him in here.
Yeah, and I think tomorrow, Lisa, do you have your? Oh, I have it right here. Tomorrow, what we're going to be covering for those of you, we're going to be going over roles. So basically, we're going to we're going to develop a role. Maybe we have a VA where we don't want to give them access. That might be an example that we go over. Maybe we have a web developer. Roles are really cool because that's how we simplify and hide things that people don't need to use. And I am a huge proponent of simplifying everything, because a lot of our customers in our system, they just want to use the messaging, and we keep it simple. We don't give them the keys to the castle because they just get overwhelmed. And so roles are how we handle that. We're going to touch on integrations, how to connect to Stripe. That's a little tricky because we have to, I think, maybe we can create a Stripe account so that we can go through it. But I need to get with Mike on that. Maybe we don't want to. Maybe we just send you down the help doc way, and then that is going to be also a good lead in to some other things. But basically, we're going to go over the settings menu in the system. So I'm expecting a relatively light day tomorrow as far as like concept. It starts getting really fun on day 4, which would be Saturday, because that's when we're going to start setting up emails and setting up the inboxes, and then setting up our custom notifications and confirmations to our customers.
Perfect. Well, I'm looking forward to day 3. So this was a successful day 2. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. And if you guys have any questions that I didn't cover or I wasn't clear on, I mean, I was a little rushed, but I wanted to spend time. I wanted to give more information. Sometimes I gave too much. And if I wasn't clear on something, just go into the Facebook group, ask a question, tag me, and I will do my best to give you the clarification you need.
Yep, Danny and Lisa are going to be your go-to people in the group, and we got a lot of other great people in there helping as well, but super knowledgeable experts of Black Label and agencies in general. They've seen probably every niche you can imagine at this point, so that's awesome. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notifications of all these great Fast Track with FlowTrack events on YouTube. And make sure you follow us on social media. You got YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, so you can get all the great updates. We're releasing a lot of new features in the group and a lot of good news, and obviously the notifications for Fast Track with FlowTrack. So perfect. Great. Right. Well, thank you so much, Lisa and Danny. Another great episode, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody, for showing up.
All right. Thanks.